to balance that out, it has now become the ND 500, so there are no longer potholes for traffic calming measures.
All right, I have 6 o'clock, so we'll call a Charter Township of Long Lake Board of Trustees regular meeting to order for March 10th. We all rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Wagner. Here. Seeger.
Here.
Schaub.
Here.
And Runkel.
Here.
And we lie. This year.
And Wheelock.
And we lie. All right. So we'll start for the first public comment. I know so we got some students here, so when you guys get all done, just come up, we'll sign whatever documents you guys got. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go through the rules first, but you're fine. Just have a seat there, Matt. Any person shall be permitted to address this meeting of the Board of Trustees, which is required to be open to the public under the provisions of the Michigan Open Meetings Act as amended. Public comment shall be carried out in accordance with the following. Any person wishing to address the board shall state their name and address. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding time needed to answer trustees' questions. The chairperson shall control the amount of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. The chairperson may extend the amount of time each person is allowed to speak. If a group wishes to address the board, the chairperson may require the group to designate a spokesperson. The Township Board does not respond to comments other than questions by the trustees or to make necessary clarifications. Silence or non-response from the board should not be interpreted as disinterest or disagreement by the board.
All right, first public comment.
Good evening. My name is Matt Delzio, 4100 Sarah Lane. I'm a Long Lake Township resident. I've been a part-time paramedic firefighter at Long Lake for the past 13 years. And I'm here tonight to offer a recommendation that I believe will improve the long-term stability of our emergency services. To my knowledge, Long Lake Township Fire Rescue is budgeted for 6 full-time paramedics. Today we only have 3. One of our most senior paramedics left last week, put in his notice. So this combines with some struggles with an open paramedic position that we've been struggling to fill for a couple years. And it leaves our department stretched pretty thin. If one more person leaves or gets injured, or goes on any extended leave, this could leave our department pretty thin and make it difficult to maintain the level of service that our residences expect. So my request to the board is pretty straightforward. I ask that you consider increasing the full-time hourly wage until we can begin to see a competitive applicant pool. Something like 3 to 5 qualified candidates for an open position. I've heard the term in the past used as a competitive wage, and I want to emphasize that a truly competitive wage is reflected in an applicant pool. So when the wages are truly competitive, you will see 3 to 5 qualified applicants that the chief would be confident hiring, all competing for that one open spot. That's not what we're experiencing right now. If we look at the wages that other agencies are attempting to hire at and not getting 3 to 5 qualified applicants, this will just anchor us to a failing system that has a significant market imbalance. Over the past 2 years, we've only seen a trickle of applicants, many of whom are either unqualified or come with concerns that make it difficult to consider them for the position. I don't want our admin team to be pressured to lower their standards when hiring for these positions, and I firmly believe that investing in quality personnel should come before capital purchases, equipment, fancy gadgets, new apparatus. I sincerely appreciate your time and your commitment to the safety of the community, and hope you consider taking the steps to making Long Lake Fire Rescue competitive and attracting the talent that the township deserves. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Can you ask questions?
No.
No.
Chris Crew, 3016 Collier Road. I wanted, the first thing to bring up is that I saw that Garfield Township is putting forth some effort to do some work on preventing data centers from coming to their township, as is one of the other townships. I'd like to suggest that we try to do the same, get ahead of it so that we're not going, hey, we can't do anything about that Dollar General. So if we've got the opportunity to be proactive, it'd be nice to be proactive on this one. Second topic is the septic system, sewer system survey that came out. A couple of things I want to talk about with Protect the Lake, the concept of Protect the Lake. Sewer system, I did some reconnaissance and called some people that I know down in Grand Rapids that run the township. And they said that it's about $2,000 a mile to put in a septic or sewer system. In 2000, their sewer system that they put in was $30 million. Translated in today's money, that's $56.6 million. It is mandatory on the lake. If you live on the lake, you have to join, period. They also have a third party that operates it. They have a repair and improvement budget. They have an I&I management, which is the seepage into the septic lines, which causes more water to go in than what they need to treat. So they have a management system and a process to do that. They sized for expansion, so they actually planned for not just what's needed, but also to grow. We have 874-ish or so lake residentials versus about 5,000, so about 17% of the people live on the lake. You'd also need a budget for operating costs and have that third party participate in it. The cost to connect for this was $4,000 to $5,000 per home. It's about $1,000 for a grinder pump to get, if you're below grade. There's some shorter-term fixes that instead of spending money and going after a septic or sewer system, there's some shorter-term fixes that could happen that would help address what we might think is and what might be happening with E. coli and leakage into the lake. Fertilizer applications on lake residential. The township I talked to, Cannon Township, actually has an ordinance that says you cannot have anhydric phosphorus fertilizers, and they have to register all commercial applications. So any commercial providers have to be registered by the township in order to provide on any lake residential. So they restrict that. The other thing, too, is that if we have point of use issues, if my septic system's leaking in the lake, Kevin shouldn't be having to pay for my septic system. We should be addressing them on a point of use. So if there's people on Long Lake Peninsula or someplace else around there, they should be addressed, and there's ways to do it. And the other thing, too, is that we've got the mobile home park talking about splitting their property into two 10,000-gallon tanks so they can avoid putting in a pretreatment system. Eagle's calling that out. That's an Eagle thing, and they're finding a workaround in order to get there. I am not opposed to the manufactured homes, but it still is a workaround to allow them to do 20,000 gallons or more worth of potential septic. That's it. Thanks.
3 minutes.
I will probably be longer than 3 minutes. Kay Gallagher Ingraham, 5170 Jacks Trail. Principles of governance. Now you're going to sign a pledge. Let me read each sentence, and you decide if you handled the Twin Lakes Park Steel in good faith. Insist on the highest standards of ethical conduct by all who act on behalf of this township. Bring credit, honor, and dignity to our public offices through collegial board deliberations and diligent, appropriate responses to constituent concerns. Actively pursue education and knowledge and embrace best practices. Treat all persons with dignity, respect, and impartiality without prejudice or discrimination. Practice openness and transparency in our decisions and actions. Cooperate in all reasonable ways with other government entities and consider the impact our decisions may have outside our township's borders. Communicate to the public township issues, challenges, and successes, and welcome the active involvement of stakeholders. Oh, stakeholders, to further the township's well-being. Strive for compliance with all state and federal statutory requirements. Refuse to participate in any decisions or activities for personal gain at the expense of best interests of the township. Further the understanding, obligations, and responsibilities of American citizenship. You have 2 very active lawsuits still going on. I know because I'm the one that's suing you. The MTA principles of governments typically include commitments of openness and transparency. So how does stealing a part from the Grand Traverse County residents align with this pledge? How can the board sign a pledge for transparency while defending a lawsuit for allegedly breaking state law and holding secret meetings? If you sign this pledge tonight, you are all hypocrites and shame on you. Now, about all the financial control things that you're going to be signing, which is interesting. I don't understand why you guys didn't have these controls. You should have these controls years ago. And looking at your money, you spent $102,000 in February. Your fund balance is down to $700,000. And I really don't understand how controls, had already been implemented. So not sure if the MTA or accounting firms are having you do this. Any purchase of over $5,000 has to be approved by the board. But I couldn't see anything where, if you get the 3 quotes, does the board see the quotes? Does the board make these decisions? Or the people get to see these quotes?
I gave you 30 seconds.
Okay. And one of my main concerns is credit cards. And in the area of credit cards, there can be a lot of embezzlement with credit cards and debit cards. Matter of fact, that is what the treasurer did at the fairgrounds. It's exactly what she did. You spent $7,700 in credit cards, and all you see is a credit card payment. You should see the statements in your board packet of what was purchased. You should know who has credit cards. And if an employee uses a credit card by mistake, what's the policy? How do you get that money back? How do you know? It should all be in there. Do they each have a limit? I don't know. Does the fire chief have a credit card? I don't know. So I really feel, instead of just approving this with your consent calendar, you people should be asking questions about this report. And I also would like to know, what did you pay the lawyer for over $2,000 in 1 month?
Thank you. Any further public comment?
Bill Shear, 9777 Skyver Road. The reason I wondered about comment is I think even the city is having trouble filling their requests for medics and things like that since they've expanded. But then since I'm up here, and we see our county guy here, back in the fall, late summer, they came along the stone wall and did a fantastic job of cleaning it up. And I did call the office and told them how happy I was because they did an exceptional job this time. Back in the olden days, the people that lived on the north end of the wall would clean in front of their places. But now, with the way people get up earlier in the morning and they're not going fishing, I don't know where the hell they're going. But we used to get up at 5:30 in the morning and go down there, and we were safe until maybe 9 o'clock. But maybe they're going to church, so that's a good thing. But no, the county did a nice job, and it's greatly appreciated that they do keep that area clean. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment? Hearing none, we'll go on to the consent calendar.
Tonight, the consent calendar consists of the Township Board meeting minutes of February 10th, 2026, Treasurer's Report as of 1/31/26, then we have the February 26 reports for the Planner, Zoning Department, OEO, Parks Department, Executive Assistant, then we have the check register for February 26, the Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Report, February 26, Grand Traverse County Road Commission, February 26, and the Long Lake Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals Annual Report for 25.
Do you need a motion for the consent calendar?
So moved.
I'll support. Motion and support by Linda, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Dan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. All right, now we're going to approve and amend the agenda. I have one, I'd like to add a brush truck replacement, number 8, under new business. Motion for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Rhonda, seconded by Kevin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Any conflict of interest on the agenda today?
No.
All right, hearing none, we'll go on to discuss reports. Commissioner Morris, Grand Traverse County Commissioner.
All righty. Since I'm here, you obviously realize that I did not actually have the surgery I was supposed to have. The insurance bureaucracy, but I will have it next month, so I probably won't be here. Anyway, so our last meeting, I like to say that we approved a new theme song for the jail. I feel the earth move under my feet. If you're under 40, you're probably not going to get that reference. Anyway, so we're going to continue to monitor the movement of the structure. They're using things like ground penetrating radar, elevation and floor level studies, crack gauges, and they've installed a groundwater monitoring well in the basement. So what you need to know about that is that it's about a 5 out of 10 on an emergency scale. It's like we're driving a really old car and we know that parts are going to fall off at some point, but it's not an emergency. Let's get out of this right now. However, it does feed into our long-range planning, and that actually speeds up the process for the Alpha project and how that's going to go. So a couple of years ago, about a year and a half, I actually, with another couple of commissioners, met with Plant Moran to talk about the work they'd done with Macomb County and their jail. And they managed to successfully delineate mental health services as opposed to housing them with general public. And it's really been a successful endeavor on their part. So I was really pleased when they brought a possible approval to us to employ Plant Moran with a professional agreement. They're Plant Moran Real Point LLC, and they're performing a facilities relocation study. Yeah, I know, another study, right? But if you don't do the studies, you don't know actually what's needed, and then you're amending as you go along, and that's not a good financial thing either. So we approved that. Last time I was here, I said we had talked about creating a TIF policy, but it was discovered that in 2012 we'd already had one. So we're going to use that old policy as a launching point to really smooth out the way that we're going to approach TIF projects. And then we finally approved a resolution that was presented by our drain commissioner. And it's general enough to address the uncertainties associated with the chain of lakes. I know you guys have heard about that with Antrim County. And it's specific enough to get the dam inspections and reporting completed for Duck Lake and Silver Lake. So, and we can extend that the way he has it written out. So I just want to take a moment to say we really appreciate our drain commissioner. He's been so engaged in all of the processes, and he's just been such a great asset for the county. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about is you've kind of been with me on my journey with Northern Lakes Community Mental Health. And what I want to project at this point is that with our new CEO on board, the board members don't know what to do with ourselves. There's like no drama, there's no undercurrents, and it's all transparency. So I'm really pleased that all of that hard work over the last few years has just paid off. And we've got some financial challenges that were because of some of the challenges that we've had over the last several years, but we're getting to a really good place, and so I appreciate y'all's support with that. So,
Thank you.
yep.
Any questions for her?
Any questions? Right.
All right, thank you. Good luck with your surgery.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go on to Emergency Service Station, Chief Down.
Good evening, all. So this month, or last month, we attended a large mutual aid training. That's what the picture. We had multiple departments together in the new Myers House, or what was called Myers House, where the new location for the Myers and Chums Corner. Butch Strait, our representative, our wastewater representative for our car wash, because that's how Eagle has us listed as the fire department, because we're kind of that strange in between, because we wash cars, so we have to follow a lot of the Eagle rules. They came out, Butch and our new representative came out and did an inspection. Nothing was reported as any problems. The staff, all scheduled shift workers plus some part-timers came out, and we did our annual walkthrough of Keystone Environmental, which is the place up on 72 with a big giant propane tank out front. So we do that annually. We did meet, myself and Ron, we met with police a few weeks back. They were coming up with a game plan of what to do and try to get chief building, the folks that we bought the metal package from, get them involved. So they were going to come up with a better plan for us to dissect that. Brush 10, you just heard there was an incident with Brush 10. As of today, the current Brush 10 has been deemed totaled. It was an 18-year-old, remember it was Jim's pickup truck before it was our truck, and it sustained damage, and due to age and the amount of damage, they have told us that it was totaled. And obviously, we'll talk about it more later on. And our numbers, luckily, have flattened out a little bit. For the month, we went to 59. So we got out of those 80 or 90 call months. So that's a good thing. Any questions?
Just a little more on the building, and you said they're working on a plan. Is there a timeline of when we expect to get anything back, or what's the next step?
They're working through that, trying to figure out, because the issue's happening when thaws happen, so it's not happening today. I don't know if we pump a bunch of water up and see if it runs down.
Yeah, we always have that possibility.
The next phase we'll have to do. Somewhere it's happening at the lip where the admin area is and the sleeping quarters are. It's leaking at that flat spot area. So all the stuff that was in the bay have all been taken care of, but we're still having this issue on that side, and it's not everywhere. So we're trying to figure out what to do with that. And so the thing to remember is that Chief, we bought the building directly from Chief, so that's some of our stuff, and then they put it all together. So we're working through it, trying to figure out how that, what was designed wrong, built wrong, that's what we're going through.
Okay.
And so to have Chief come up and look at that, so.
Okay, so that is next step, is
That's
to
the next
come
step.
up and so, okay. I knew there was working on it, I just wanted to make sure we have not just telling us they're working on it, are they working on it, do we have a schedule just to keep it moving?
Part of it was they didn't want to come up with their snow on it,
To understand.
even though that's when the problem happens. But they want to be able to come up and look at everything. They want to see the screws, they want to see where everything, the panels were put on, what that looks like,
Sure.
before they give their opinion.
We probably have video of when it's leaking and what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. We have a couple leak spots. And of course, the bad thing, with a leaky roof, right,
it can leak in one spot, and it finds the lowest spot. So we have where it comes out, and so, yeah, that's some of the stuff that they want to be able to get in there, pull some of the panels off to be able to see, do we see it running places or anything like that? But, yeah, and so that's, obviously, with a bunch of ice and snow on it, it was hard for them to do. So they definitely were looking more of a spring project concept for that.
Great. As long as we got a schedule,
Yep, we're working through that.
fantastic.
So, any other questions? I will not see you folks next month. I am going on a cruise, so we'll see you after that.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll go on to Grand Traverse County Road Commission. Thanks for coming out, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Good evening. Thought I'd start off talking a little bit about this winter. Obviously had a real winter this year. So as of a couple weeks ago, we had already surpassed snow totals of what we saw last year. So we had a nice little warm up here. It looks like we're getting another blast of it. So we're definitely gonna have a lot more snow this year than we did last year. With that being said, all of our usages are up. Our winter sand, our salt, our blades, our fuel are definitely way up this year. Not quite sure how it's going to impact the budget fully yet. We'll wait here and total it up at the end of the year. We're still in really good shape. We still have plenty of materials and blades and all that stuff. Budget's still healthy, but definitely going to be a little more. We like to carry a little more budget into the spring. We can do some more spring projects and stuff like that. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. A couple of things. We updated our 2026 project list now. So if you go to our website, you can get on there and see our 2026 project list. Probably one of the biggest projects that we're doing this year in Long Lake would be Cedar Run, just past Barney Road all the way to the county line, adding shoulders to that, doing what they call an interlayer, which is a chip seal, and then come back over with an overlay with it. So it should be a pretty nice stretch of road there. Couple other big projects coming up. We're looking at doing the Beitner Road Bridge. Trying to figure out when to do that best. We were hoping to do that over the winter. Eagle's trying to push us to do that into spring. But once we start that, that's going to be a full closure on Beitner Road Bridge. I'm sure it's going to cause backups all towards the west side for traffic. We were planning on coming into Long Lake this year and doing a bunch of high ridge work, doing some tree removals. What we saw last year happen from the roundabout going in and interlocking, we're starting to think maybe that's a really bad idea. We don't want to cause any more problems over here. Maybe we can play around a little on the west side, but we don't want to make anything worse over here than what we were doing. We were supposed to be doing a hill cut around Bass Lake Road, but when we saw so much traffic coming down through there on Secor, we decided that's probably a bad time to be causing problems there and closing the roads down. So that's actually a Fed aid project, and since MDOT's causing the issue there in interlocking, we talked to them. Sorry, Dan. And they're actually going to let us push that project back a year. So overall, we were seeing bid prices. We put all of our materials out to bid and everything. We're actually seeing bid prices come in under this year so far, so we're really excited about that. Asphalt prices were under. Looks like fuel costs might go up, so that might affect us a little bit. But initially, we're seeing like 10% under, so we're really hopeful maybe that adds up to be able to do a little more projects. Another thing I want to talk about is on our website, I probably talked about this, we were trying to get this project up and going. We were pretty excited about it, and that was the countywide car counts on all the asphalt roads. That's now on our website. If you go into our main website, go all the way down to the bottom, there's a little icon there, and click for car counts. And once you get in there, it shows the entire county, all the car counts. And on the side, there's a little where you could click just Long Lake, and it would grab only Long Lake's counts. And then on the top of that, there's a little search. You can actually put in a road, and it'll search that road. There's multiple counts on that road. It'll bring them up. You can click on those. Say now you wanted to look at like Green Lake and Long Lake and see where the traffic's flowing back and forth. You could click on Green Lake and only pull those two up. It's pretty interesting when you stop and take a look at it of where traffic's flowing from. You can actually follow it down like a main road and then side roads coming off and other roads picking up, and your counts start to catch up, so you can actually see where traffic's flowing. We also put all the states counts on there too, so you can see all the states counts and ours. And then you can do the same thing. You can turn the states counts on or turn our counts off and look at either or. So it's really helpful. Very excited about it. With that data, we worked on, it's called the PCI, where we rated all the roads. So now separately you can print off and take a look at what's your worst rated roads with your car counts. We're working on trying to integrate those into one system. So that's the next step. But at least now you can take a look at that. Kind of got to do a little bit yourself, but the next step is actually put that into an app. So that's our next goal there. I think I talked a little bit about, we went out to bid, long line painting, chip seals, all those good stuff. So we're pretty excited about where prices are coming in. Last thing I want to talk about today was funding. So the state did that new road funding bill, and we were saying, oh, you're going to double your budget. And we're going, wow, we can get a lot done for this. Then it ended up coming back, they're going to increase us about 35%. So we're like, all right, any direction's a good direction. Told us the budget for it, said go for it. We just recently got some stuff back. Some of that was the marijuana funds that's held up legally. And they told us, don't budget for it. Better not do that. So we've been tracking right now so far where our funds are coming in, and we're actually running about 11-12% less this year than what we did last year. So we're actually seeing less funds come in right now off this new one. Now they're saying towards the end of the year, we should start to see a catch up with the new gas tax and stuff like that. But as of right now, we're actually bringing in less money. So not what we wanted to see. But that's kind of my update for tonight.
Welcome to the crowd.
Yeah.
Can I please get to you, what was the stretch of Cedar Run from which road to which road?
Yeah, it's just past Barney Road. I think there was a stretch where we'd already did previously. We're picking up from there, and we're going all the way to the county line there in Benzie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any update on the stoplight for Cedar Run and Gray?
Cedar Run and Gray, that is something we're going to try to get done this year. We are looking at it. Still got to get stuff out to bid and design and all that good stuff. So it'll probably be a late fall project if we do get it in. Still trying to get all the stuff planned out right now, projects. So it's something we're still trying to look at and hopefully do something with.
Do you know when the temporary's going on Secor and West Silver Lake?
I don't. I know it's still in talks. I haven't 100% sure that's been fully approved, but I think it sounded pretty positive that was going to. But I haven't heard 100% for sure that it is.
It's needed.
Definitely.
And you drive that road every day.
It's going to get worse.
It's a worthwhile project getting that done, so thank you, Dan. The one on the roundabout in 31, so.
It'll be nice when it's done.
If you want to hear about it, the update, there's an open house on what day is that, Dan? For the open house in Green Lake?
It's the 24th or the
24th.
26th. It's the night of the next planning commission meeting, so 2 weeks from tonight.
Okay, good, all right. Any other questions? Well, good.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I got to run. I'm doing the border review at East Bay Township, so
Yeah.
back over there. Have a great night.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, thanks.
All right. We have no pending business, so next up is the Long Lake Charter Township Principles of Government. So we've signed this in the past. This is something that comes out from Michigan Townships Association. And I know, Kevin, you brought it up about having this taken care of. And
Yeah, I found it in the MTA, I think January magazine, looking at it, and to me it makes perfect sense that we should be striving to do everything that's on that list. And I think, to read it, talk about it, debate it in the community, whether, through the comments we had here tonight or amongst ourselves, but I think it's a good thing I don't know why we wouldn't want to sign and work towards that end. And the only other question I mentioned just briefly at the start of the meeting for Ron, this is for our township board, which is really what it's designed, but I look at it, I don't know why it couldn't also be done for the planning commission and their boards. I mean, to me, this is speaking to just some ethical approaches to how we should all function and operate and strive to achieve anyway. So I would encourage us to look at it and sign it and be consistent with what MTA is asking us to do and what we've done historically, and propose it, maybe Dan, to take back to the planning commission. So just to.
Do we need a motion, or do we just sign it?
we can just sign it, but if everybody agrees to it, we can move it. I have a copy of it here. People can sign it before we leave today.
It's going to hurt to pass a motion? I mean, I think somebody
It
to
doesn't
sign
hurt
and
to
say,
pass
well,
it.
the township never even adopted it, so.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion that the township board adopt principles of governance as presented.
I'll second. All right, motion by Dan, second by Kevin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. All right, now we'll go on to our ACH Resolution 326-3. I'll let Rhonda explain this one.
So right now, the only electronic payments we do is the federal withholding taxes. And we don't really like doing a lot of ACH and credit card payments. The biggest reason is it's harder to track it in our system. But the new pension that we're doing, we were in our blackout period, and knew whether it was what we contribute as a township or what employees contribute extra. We were in the blackout period for a while, and then it got all up and going, and I got ready to send the check in, and they said, we can't take a check. And I was like, one time you can take a check? Nope. So then this has to be, the lawyer looked at it, and then it has to come to, so we've been sitting on money for a couple months. So we would like to have this resolution passed, giving us the ability to send in some electronic payments. I don't see us doing it much at all, but there are situations that happen that's the only way people will take their money.
I think this is the way business is being done so often these days, but one thing I would caution, maybe we even, I guess, should look very closely at, only because I have experience with other entities in the community, particularly very recently. We've got quite a few issues happening here in the Traverse City area with folks that are receiving emails to say, hey, don't ACH and send it to this account. I have this new account that we've just set up, and there's large monies being moved. And there's ways to work around that, but I guess just make sure we have a policy. So if we're going to do ACH, make sure if there's any change in an account that we take additional steps verbally to make contact and to have additional verification, that we don't just accept an email that says, oh, send the money to this account we've changed, even if it's the pension, that we should make sure we have a verbal.
I was going to say, we do have an ACH policy. It actually comes from the treasurer's office, and the attorney helped Kendra get that written up. And in there, it does say who has to initiate the invoice, which would be me, and then who has to do, and how we work together, and there's a whole policy for that. But yeah, I do know that we have to be vigilant and be extra careful.
Absolutely, yeah. So as long as, I guess it'd be, as long as you've reviewed that policy, or Ron's comfortable, I don't know if that's to come to the board, but I guess I'd encourage to make sure that we've got that comfortable, and so we've got redundancy in there to make sure we don't all of a sudden have a chunk of money go somewhere that we can't get back.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been working on, is trying to get the verbal policies, and we're trying to get them all in writing now, and to finalize that, make it better and for the future and stuff, so.
Okay, very good.
Just because it's the way we've always done it doesn't mean it's the best way. But we're just trying to take a lot of those activities, work with the attorney and saying, let's document those procedures and put them in paper, and then they're followed.
Very good.
Checks and balances are good too, just for the security piece of it, so it's good.
So if I can get a motion.
I would make a motion to accept resolution number 3-26-3 to authorize use of automating clearinghouse ACH arrangements and electronic transaction of funds.
Support.
Okay, motion by Kevin, supported by Kendra. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Schaub,
Yes.
Alderat,
Yes.
Seaver,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Wheelock,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
and Lempool.
Yes. Motion passes. All right, we'll go on to our cash handling and receipting. As we change and do different things, you know, we pass a lot of various resolution who can accept money and do things, and so now we're simply just putting this policy in place that really talks about who are all the ones that touch the money, how it gets touched, and that's what this policy does. This has been reviewed by the attorney as well, and how everything works, how petty cash works. You know, because now we have, our parks are out collecting money in their boat launches, and, you know, people are paying money at the farmer's market, and so this is trying to make sure we have a good understanding who can touch it and that type of stuff.
Kind of a minor detail, when we get into the spending authorities, you've got level 00 to 249. Pardon me?
We're not on that yet.
Oh, I've gone down one too far, sorry.
Hold on.
Hold on.
I'll make a motion to approve the cash handling and receiving policy.
I'll support. Okay, who's quicker? I heard Dwayne first. So we have a motion by Kendra and supported by Dwayne. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, now we'll go on to the purchase policy. So with this one, we've reviewed, or I have, and spent time going through different ones from all the different townships, which I think they're all going to go through this policy because they're all trying to figure out, some are antiquated, there's actually some that are federal funds that people are getting, and so they just took some things from different ones, and this kind of puts it together. We have people that do have credit cards, and then they have, like Jim, if he needs to buy something, he can go out and pick it up. And I remember the first time he showed up and said, "Hey, I bought this part for $20." And I said, "What are you coming to me for a $20 part?" But, he has a budget that he knows what to do and how to spend things, but I don't see him driving all the way to get a part for a plow and then drive all the way back to get permission to fix it. So those are things that he can to deal with his card, and then, so we have the different smaller groups, so they're buying office supplies and stuff like that, and then we have the clerk, the township treasurer, emergency services, fire, and then the EMS director, they can purchase up to $3,000. I mean, I probably should say 0 to 3,000. Then the supervisor has, anything between that 3,000 and 5,000, and then anything greater, the board would approve. So these are things back and forth, trying to follow best practices that other communities have. So that's what is in front of you.
So that was where my subtle minor question or comment, I think in the spending authorities, where we go 0 to 249, and then the next one's 250 to 3,000.
Should be 0.
Should be either 2,999 or 3,000, and then the next one starts at 3,001, and then it's listed that way down in a paragraph. So just catch every one of those, just so it's, not that it's going to probably be rare that it lands right on that number, but if it did, then which way should it go? Just to kind of dot the i's and cross the t's and read down into the paragraphs, whoever's going to look at that, I guess, because there's a couple there that have it and a couple that don't. And then, I guess if I'm still talking on the question where multiple quotes are going to come in on items, which I think we pretty much have been doing anyway, but, and I think, Bill had the question here, but I actually had the same. Will we bring those quotes to the board on those decisions when it hits that level, or is it going to be the recommendation of the primary, or maybe include the secondary ones in the packet to come, or is there a thought process on how that would work?
That's up to you and what you want. I mean, a lot of what has been said is that we've had those quotes, and then we compare them, and then we bring the lowest one or the best one. It's not always the lowest one.
Sure.
So that's what we bring into it. But if you want to see them, you're more welcome. The hard part is trying to get quotes. And I think that's some of the stuff that, we run into with some of the tree stuff, is that we get a quote, but then other people are like, I haven't been the lowest, so why would I continue to bid?
Sure.
And so those are some things that we're struggling with, trying to get some of those things together and put that out, so.
So I guess at least we're covered here, because the staff will attempt to obtain, so I guess do the best we can to obtain. But I guess my thought would be for the public, at least, I wouldn't necessarily want to sit here and have a meeting where we're reviewing all the details of every quote, would be my opinion, but I would think that as we've done, come back and say, here's what's recommended and why, in kind of quick summary, but it might be good to have the others just included in the packet, so it could be
Do you want
reviewed.
a quote or a summary?
I don't know, I guess I would, without thinking, I guess depends how, you need some level of detail, I think, so community and others can know, but in some respects, you could probably just include them and not summarize it, and that would be less work for staff to try to summarize each one, do a summary for the one and why you chose it. The others could be there just for a reference point, I guess would be a thought, just to save less administrative work to accurately summarize every one. just a thought.
Okay, you're going to get a big board packet. You want to see the insurance quotes.
Oh, yeah, okay, so, this is only a suggestion, I didn't say we needed to do that at this time. And as long as they're electronic, so we can see it electronically.
So, yeah, we can work through that and see how it works. I mean, it's something that, if it's not working, then we can work through that.
Sure, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Just have one little thing, and maybe somebody can clarify this for me, that under the uniform accounting procedures section, which is the last page of the policy, it talks about uniform accounting procedures manual for township government shall be consulted. I could not find that document, but I did find one that was called the manual for local units of government, so I think it's just a
It's a typo.
error. So if we're gonna be making a couple little changes, I would, unless I'm mistaken, that would be a good one to throw in there.
Yeah, Dan, I looked up the actual title, and it's actually called Accounting Procedures Manual for Local Units of Government in Michigan. So that's the one.
So
that
we'll make that change.
So with those subtle changes in mind, I would make a motion that we have adopt the amended but presented policy.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Dan, support by Kevin. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. All right. So we'll get into discussion. So there's two items that are on the agenda. One is for the siding at repair at Twin Lakes dorm. And as you know, we went through the process last year. We got quotes to paint. Dan Brady was the lowest bid on that, and he's the one that painted the lodge. So the plan was we put money in the budget to paint the rest of the buildings this year. But our plan was we didn't have a good item for the siding because the siding was so bad, but different people have taken time to look at it since they did the other buildings. So I've got a quote from Modern Mitten Customs, but to compare it to a quote, because we had siding quotes out of the three that come out and looked at it, only one responded, which was Traverse Bay Siding. His quote was to go over the top of the existing siding down there for $79,762. And so we kept on trying to figure out what if we could do better. And then the company Mitten Modern Customs did all the wood repair at the lodge. And so he come in and said, look, I can repair all of the wood down there for $10,550. And then Dan Brady went down and quoted it. That wasn't part of the original quote, was $22,730. So it's quite less than $72,000, which leaves us money to continue painting the rest of the building. So that would put us at about, of the $100,000 we projected for painting down there, it was we're going to come in at about $63,880 to finish all those down there. So
painting versus residing, what's the life of the painting?
well, you're going to still get years out of it, but they wanted to put the siding over the old wood that's rotting. That didn't include taking all that off.
That's not even a good idea.
No. So we'd still have more money in that, trying to take all that off to start over. So. What?
You should change the name of your company.
Yeah. Which one? Traverse Bay Siding or Modern?
No, the one that wanted to put siding.
Oh.
The junk.
So that's just how they do it. So those are type of things. So those are the quotes that I've gotten. I figure that between that and this one, between the siding and repair. And this guy did all the work at the pavilion at the Timbers Park as well, and did a good job down there. So smaller company that's just doing these little projects. So you can do them all together, or you can do one individual for Modern and then Brady, or however you want to look at that.
I'll make a motion to approve both Mitten Modern and Dan Brady for the dorm siding repair and exterior painting.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Kendra, second by Rhonda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, we'll go on to insurance. Well, that was fun. So we went out and got 3 different quotes. One, we have our municipal underwriters, which we've been using, which is Parkland. Been using them for a long time, almost 30 years. In front of us is a quote that it's a 12% increase over last year. And so then we had it quoted by High Street was another one. They were higher. But what I'd like to do is recommend, and the other one we disqualified because they only do fire departments and they don't do anything else. The problem with that is that our department is not a standalone department. So the township owns all the vehicles. It's not like it's an authority by itself. So they can't do both. So that's why they're not going to do that, even though that's their focus, but that's where they're at. Plus, they were higher, significantly higher than what the original quotes from the other people. So what I'd like to do is I talked to High Street and I talked to Michigan municipal underwriters, and I'd like to spend more time in the fall when we're doing our budget and have them in front of us and talk about the different ways that they do their insurance and valuations. And, we know we got some work to figure out on some of the vehicles and on values and what they look like in some of our buildings, to go through some more of that this year to work on getting that better. But I'm going to recommend that we approve the quote from Michigan Mutual Underwriters, which is $77,113, which includes all the fire for $28,391, the board, which is the township, for $47,293, and they call it group travel board, which is basically our policy for Provident, which covers all the injuries and disabilities and stuff like that.
Is Provident in that number?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep, that's the 1429, that's on this. Yep, so that's what you have in front of you. So that's my recommendation, is that we approve them, and then spend some time this fall during budget season really looking through some of those numbers.
And I can just say, I know that Ron spent a lot of time on the insurance, and Kendra and I spent some time. And by going through the numbers, I feel comfortable that we are being covered for everything we need to be covered. And Michigan Underwriters always had really good customer service, but it might be good to take another look at some point. But I feel confident that we're in a good spot with them right now.
So where they're increasing us from blanket property limits from 16.9 to 17.8, they walk you through that, you're understanding why
Yep.
it makes sense with all the building, everything that we're insuring, that's an appropriate.
Correct.
number. So
Yep.
5% increase plus the rate increase of 12, which is how we're coming up with the.
Yep.
We reviewed it.
Yeah, I think some of them were some of the buildings, just trying to figure out, exactly what the value is. It doesn't change the number of that much, but some of it's like, okay, is that building really worth $50,000? Just like sitting through board review. If you ever done that, that's the funnest thing you ever get to do. So, you're trying to explain to, someone that builds a building, I built it for $62,000 and we value it at 80. And it's like, well, how'd you get to that, and I only spent this, so it's just trying to, the factors there and stuff, so.
This would factor in where we've changed to basically being a pavilion at the park where it used to be a building and torn down a
Yep.
cabin. So all that's been factored in to
Yeah.
remove what's been removed in terms of value of insured.
Right.
So I'll make a motion to approve the $77,113 payment to municipal underwriters for the, I was going to say 2026, but 26 into 27 a little bit invoice.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Rhonda, support by Kendra. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right. Brush truck. So we had a brush truck that had an incident. From what we can understand is that somehow the floor mat caught the gas pedal. The gas pedal stuck to the floor and hit one of the light poles at the or the township fire department. Everybody's okay, the truck just damaged, and pretty much, have you seen a confirmation email that it's totaled? We've only heard back and forth, so one of the things we normally do is we would normally take our pickup truck that we have sitting here that Jim uses in the parks, we would sell it to the fire department, and then the fire department would use it, and then we'd upgrade the one. That's how it's happened. But the chief went out and found, because the goal is to create one that looks like a flatbed anyway, so this one is the brush truck. The brush truck is the one that fights fires that are in the woods. And this is kind of the year where the snow melts and the fire season starts. So it's kind of importance to move this forward. I've been told that we could expect anywhere from $35,000 to $40,000. So, if you look at the sheet in our insurance, we insure this truck for $50,000 in total. So that means the pump truck, the pumps that's in the back for the brush truck, lettering, radios. So that package, so the truck is itself only worth between $5,000 and $8,000, but everything else through the process of the heavy-duty bumpers, the bigger tires, radios, winches, all that type of stuff would be replaced with this truck, and so part of it's of importance. So instead of trying to transfer a truck that's got over 100,000 miles down there, the chief found this one that's in front of you for $38,000, but it's only got 22,000 miles on it, still has a warranty on it, and we can buy extended warranty. So this truck is a 15 to 20-year truck that'll sit down there to be used for the fire. I mean, since we transferred the last one, keep in mind we bought the new one for Jim and put the one down there, they put 9,000 miles on it. Jim's got over 100,000, his was new, so with importance of trying to get this accomplished sooner than later. I did get prices from Jim. I've got 5 prices from Jim to replace his, if that's the way we do it. But those trucks are $55,000 to $60,000, which is just a $2,500 or $250, depending on what truck we get. But this is a $350 Ford, so it's heavier dutier to be able to do that. So what I'm asking is that up to $50,000 spend, which means we probably wouldn't spend all that because some of it's going to come back, but it's trying to get this truck here, go through the process of at least getting the brush rack, on the back and get it ready. At least it'll be that far, and then we'll have to work on getting the radios transferred, and then work on getting it painted or wrapped, and then that type of stuff. Am I missing anything, Chief? Okay. So that's what I'm asking, is up to $50,000 to get the truck up and going and ready to roll.
Do we have any idea what we might get in insurance with that?
Between $35,000 and $40,000.
That's what we will receive?
No. And that, like I said, again, that covers, rewrapping or painting the truck. It covers moving the radios out of the old truck into the new truck. It covers getting a new brush bumper. We're gonna have to lift it up a little bit so it's got more ground clearance for going through the woods, and bigger tires, that type of stuff is what we do on it, so.
So that's what we'll be putting into this vehicle, finally have it ready, it could be up to that limit?
No.
What we'll receive?
It could be more than $50,000. This one, just that truck is $38,000.
Sure.
So the goal is to get it purchased and then work through the process with the other, providing that it's totaled. So the motion needs to be, if it's totaled, then we go buy the truck. If it's repairable, then we fix the truck. Okay? But I'm being told it's pretty much totaled. It bent the frame, both sides, that type of stuff, so.
Well, why we're kind of rushing it is because we need it quickly.
Sure.
So.
Time will be of the essence.
Okay? So the motion would be up to $50,000 to replace the brush truck and get it ready for brush season if the other vehicle's totaled.
Okay, I make the motion to approve up to $50,000 for this truck, this Mitsubishi and related, to get it functional, conditional upon the existing vehicle being totaled.
Okay? I'll support. All right, motion by Kevin, supported by Dwayne. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, we'll go on to our second public comment. Same rules apply as the first public comment. Do you guys need anything signed?
No, we should be good, thank you.
Okay, thank you guys for coming.
Kay Gallagher, Ingraham, 5170 Jacks Trail. One little correction, you actually spent over $10,000 in paying credit cards for the month of February. And I'm also wondering if you're going to be doing more ACH payments, will it also be in this check register, or will you have a separate report saying what was ACH? And I don't see anywhere, there was payroll taxes paid in February, so maybe that could be part of a separate report?
Yeah, the new policy says that the ACH, I'm answering Ron, but that the ACH is on a separate report.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you. Any further comments? All right, hearing none, we'll go on to budget status. I don't have any in front of me to deal with today. Board of Trustee comments. Matt spoke about the firefighter. We did have one that resigned. His last day is going to be March 25th. So we're working to, but as to Matt's comments, our gentleman was making $23.68, and he's going to go to a job that's making $28 an hour. So I think that's the struggle we have, as well as we have a union contract that tells us what we're going to pay our staff, and it's hard to always go outside of that contract, even though at one time when it was started, we were the highest paid contract. So I know we'll be working through some of those things to try and figure that out, because it is difficult to hire a firefighter paramedic, and so that's what we're kind of working through. So I thank you for your comments. So.
Is that increase in payment local?
Benzie County. So, but he did say that he still work part-time, so we'll work through that process with part-time people. We do pay part-time paramedic only $26 an hour, as we agreed to do that, which is out.
27 something.
27 now, so outside of the contract. So the part-time paramedic makes more than the full-time firefighter paramedic, so.
Because they don't get benefits.
They don't get benefits, so those are things to look at, so we're working through that, so. All right, any other comments?
Yeah, just a couple things up. Planning Commission updates. At our last meeting, we had, we appointed 2 new planning commissioners to the Planning Commission. And Tina Allen, who many of you know, she's now the chairperson of the Planning Commission, which is exciting. Tina brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to that group. And Pete Springsteen, so they were at our last meeting. So everybody at least had a chance to meet them. We spent quite a bit of time. We had somebody that approached the township about a text amendment. There's some work being contemplated at the Suburban Estates and Manufactured Housing Development there down by Boomers, and that would affect just that those parcels that have the same zoning that they have, which is this general business, local business, excuse me. And so after much deliberation, the Planning Commission kind of collectively, informally told the applicant we'd probably be a lot more comfortable if they took a different approach to what they're trying to do. And so they are working with staff to understand, to look at that. In your packets tonight, there was also a copy of the annual report that also includes at the very bottom the list of 26 goals for the Planning Commission. So we probably will be, we do plan to take a look at trying to continue to better improve our ADU requirements. So there's the possibility that there might be some changes being presented at some point in time. And we also agreed that we would put the ADU item back on to look at that in some sort of a much more minimized manner than what was brought to this board a month or 2 ago. So those were kind of the highlights. So.
Okay.
If I can, one comment, questions that come off of Planning Commission, Dan, and I saw your updates among priorities. One question I would have, I believe the bill's been introduced in the state legislature to potentially put a statewide moratorium on data centers. I don't know where that'll go or what's, I just caught a blip.
Just, it's a statement, so not questions back and forth.
Okay, so the statement is, I know that the state is looking at that. Not that we spend a lot of time reinventing the wheel on the topic, but there may be a consideration for the planning commission to look at, since that would be a zoning ordinance. At least have the topic float. No need to respond, I guess, since I'm not asking a question, just a statement. And then I want to just make a comment, fire department, thank you for the comments. I know there's been different conversations held looking in terms of what we need to do for our EMS system down here. Clearly there's complications, we've heard some other comments come up. I know we have challenges across the area, staffing problems, so I think it's a multi-layered thing. But thanks for coming and bringing up the topic, and I don't know if there's a clean, easy answer to any of these things, but I guess from one trustee, we appreciate all that you folks are doing down there and recognize it and collectively work together to figure out how to make it work long term.
Any other comments? All right, hearing none, we will adjourn at 7:06.